Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of English with Chris presents English Word of the Day. And today's word is going to be modest. So, without further ado, let's have a look at the word modest. You can see we pronounce the word modest, modest, modest. And this word is an adjective. So, this word is a little bit tricky in terms of definitions because this word is used in various ways. So we have three core definitions here, if you like. So three main definitions. We often use it to say that something is not very large in size or amount. We also use it in terms of approval. So approving, not too proud or confident about yourself or your abilities, not showing or feeling great or excessive pride. And we also use it in terms of clothing. So this one is important to note because with some of the other definitions of modest, you might actually interpret it the other way around. So when we talk about clothing and we say that someone is wearing modest clothing, we actually mean that they're wearing a lot of clothing and not that they're not wearing a lot of clothing. So when we're talking about clothing, modest means not showing too much. So not showing too much of a person's body, not showing too much skin. So with that out of the way, let's have a look at some examples. So this first one is going to meet the first definition of the word modest. Despite its modest, somewhat small, size, the city has many things to offer tourists. So although this city is not very big, it's modest in size, it still has a lot to offer. There are a lot of things to see or to do in this city. Okay, now our second example here, she was modest about her accomplishments, even though she had a lot to be proud of after the dance competition season. So this one is going to fit the second definition of the word modest, approving, not too proud or confident about yourself or your abilities, not showing or feeling great or excessive pride. So here, if we look at the example again, she was modest about her accomplishments. So even though she had a lot to be proud of, she was modest and made her accomplishments out to be smaller than they were, or perhaps she didn't really acknowledge these accomplishments herself. So if anyone talked about anything great that they'd achieved, she maybe wouldn't mention this at all, even though it seems like a great accomplishment. So that meets our second definition. Now, looking at our third example, this one is going to meet the third definition of the word modest. So when we talk about clothing, we're talking about not showing too much of a person's body. So this example, slipping into a modest two-piece swimsuit with a skirted bottom, she grabbed a towel and headed out at a brisk walk for the beach. So in this case, a modest two-piece swimsuit, as we can see with a skirted bottom, so it has a lot of material. Okay, so she grabbed a towel and headed out at a brisk walk for the beach. So this last bit is not so important, but a brisk walk, it's like a speedy walk. So she was walking at a quick pace. Okay, so that's going to be it for our examples for today. We're going to move on to my favorite part, as you all know, and that's because it's now your turn. if you could write a sentence using the word modest, I would very much appreciate that and look forward to reading it as always. Can you also remember yesterday's word of the day? If you can, what was it? What is the definition or the meaning of the word? And if you could write your answers in the comments below, that would be great. So that's it for today's episode of English with Chris presents English Word of the Day. Today's word was modest. I hope you're having a lovely day and continue to do so. Take care and bye bye for now.